the war in the Middle East exploding in a way that the world has feared from last fall. Iran launching tonight weapons aimed for the first time ever right towards Israel. The skies filling with missiles and hundreds of drones. Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and across the Jewish state, hundreds of thousands forced to take cover as the sound of sirens and explosions continue through the night and into the morning.
As the sun starts to rise in the Middle East, so many questions remain unanswered. How will Israel counter? Will the U.S. respond? And is there any hope to prevent this war from widening, putting more countries at odds?
We're following breaking news as we come on tonight, the major escalation in the Middle East.
Iran tonight launched a swarm of drones at Israel as air defenses lit up the sky and exploded over Jerusalem.
Earlier today, Iran's Revolutionary Guard seizing an Israeli-linked cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, rappelling down from a helicopter. And the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah launching a barrage of rockets into northern Israel, the Iron Dome intercepting many of them.
It's a developing attack that is unfolding in slow motion. The drones take several hours to travel roughly 700 miles from Iran to Israel, giving the Israeli military and its allies time to divert, jam, or shoot them down.
They can do any major damage. Both countries' neighbors are watching to see what happens next amid fears the conflict could escalate into a larger war. Fox.
President Biden cutting short his weekend trip to Delaware and returning to the White House to consult with his national security team about events in the Middle East. Now meeting with them in the situation.
The attack retaliation for a strike on Iran's consulate earlier this month that killed 2 top Iranian generals. Iran blames Israel for that strike, though the Israelis haven't taken responsibility. Rumors of war have been swirling in the intelligence community ever since. Israel readying its defenses in response, trying to shoot down the drones before they reach Israeli airspace.
Unprecedented attack on Israel. For the first time, Iran directly launching drones from its territory. Roughly 100 drones on the way, expected to be part of 400 to 500 drones and missiles from Iran, as well as Iraq, Syria and southern Lebanon.
We are closely monitoring Iranian killer drones that are en route to Israel sent by Iran. This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness.
Israel putting its forces on high alert Saturday night, shutting down its airspace as Iran launched dozens of drones and missiles toward the country.
Lebanon, according to a U.S. official. That U.S. official also telling ABC News the targets are 3 military bases, especially one housing F-35 fighter jets.
The sky lit up over the Holy Land tonight. Unmanned Iranian drones streaked over the old city of Jerusalem, exploding in the sky as Israel's missile defense system picked them off one by one. They were some of more than 200 drones fired by Iran in an unprecedented attack on Israel.
Iran has launched a direct attack from Iranian soil towards the state of Israel. This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness.
And by the end of the assault, Israel had managed to fend off most of them. There was 1 civilian injury and damage to an Israeli military base in the nation's south.
The attack retaliation for a strike on Iran's consulate earlier this month that killed 2 top Iranian generals. Iran blames Israel for that strike, though the Israelis haven't taken responsibility. Rumors of war have been swirling in the intelligence community ever since. Israel readying its defenses in response, trying to shoot down the drones before they reach Israeli airspace. Israel also directing residents in several areas to stay near bomb shelters.
This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness.
A post on X by the Iranian government through their permanent mission to the UN said the attack can be, quote, deemed concluded and warned the U.S. against getting involved. Though U.S. military officials tell Fox they have already shot down at least 1 Iranian drone. President Biden returning to Washington Saturday night, convening a meeting of the National Security Council. The White House maintaining its commitment to Israel is ironclad, saying in a statement, the United States will stand with the people of Israel and support their defense against these threats from Iran. Before this, Iran had only targeted Israel through proxy forces and avoided direct attacks. Tonight's event fueling fears about the possibility of a broader regional war. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
The attack, retaliation for a deadly strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria earlier this month, likely to unfold over a number of hours, according to the National Security Council. A U.S. official telling ABC News tonight that the U.S. will help intercept everything possible. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, after the drones were launched, saying the evil regime will be punished.
That killed 7 members of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, including 2 top commanders. Although Israel has not acknowledged involvement, it is widely believed responsible.
The Israeli Defense Forces saying the drones would take hours to reach Israel, more than 1,000 miles away. Israel closing Ben Gurion Airport and Israeli airspace.
To stop the drones and clear a path around them, Israel tonight closed its airspace, canceled flights for the next 2 days, and disabled some GPS location services. Israel is also canceling schools and all gatherings of more than 1,000 people.
Also closing schools and limiting large gatherings until Monday night. Iran for weeks vowing swift revenge after top commanders were killed in a strike the Pentagon says Israel was.
Iran's supreme leader said of Israel, the evil regime must be punished for its airstrike on Iran's consulate in Syria, which killed several military officials. And officials say tonight's response appeared to be targeting Israeli military assets. Meanwhile, in Washington, President Biden returned early from his weekend in Delaware and huddled with his national security team. The U.S. military, which was already increasing its footprint in the region.
Yesterday, the president said an Iranian attack could come quickly.
My expectation sooner than later.
President, what is your message to Iran in this moment?
Don't.
But Iran isn't listening. Earlier today, Iranian forces abseiled down, boarded, and captured an Israeli-linked cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz.
Now, but they expect most of them to be what are called one-way attack drones, specifically the Shahed models. They're packed with explosives that detonate when they hit a target. Some of these drones can fly over 1,500 miles and carry hundreds of pounds of explosives, and they only fly about 100 miles per hour, but they also fly lower.
Earlier today, Iran seizing this cargo ship, partially owned by an Israeli family in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran-backed militia group Hezbollah also claiming they struck Iron Dome air defense platforms with drones.
Region confirms it shot down some of the drones in the coordinated response to Iran's aggression.
U.S. has made it clear that they will do whatever they can to help Israel.
Those defenses shooting down missiles fired at Israel by Hezbollah last night, many of them intercepted. Yeah, where a source tells ABC News tonight that the U.S. has no doubt that Israel will respond, whether lives are lost or not, and that Iran itself will be the target.
Britt, thank you. And we know President Biden returned to the White House early this weekend, cutting short his trip to Delaware so he could meet with his national security team about the
the U.S. ships in the Red Sea and off the coast of Israel both have very sophisticated anti-missile capabilities. But Iran has also said that if the U.S. helped Israel in this attack, that U.S. troops in the region would become
The sky lit up over the Holy Land tonight. Unmanned Iranian drones streaked over the old city of Jerusalem, exploding in the sky as Israel's missile defense system picked them off one by one. They were some of more than 200 drones fired by Iran in an unprecedented attack on Israel.
Iran has launched a direct attack from Iranian soil towards the state of Israel. This is a severe and dangerous escalation. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest level of readiness.
And by the end of the assault, Israel had managed to fend off most of them. There was one civilian injury and damage to an Israeli military base in the nation's south.